Hey guys, welcome back to the Motor Grow podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and those of you that are watching via YouTube, thank you so much for your viewership. Today is April 4th, and it is currently 7:24 a.m. And as you can see, and probably hear, it is pouring rain out, and we got called on a job, so we are headed out, and we're going to be trimming a vacant lot. And the reason it needs to be done right now is because the owner of the property, it's like a mobile home park, and there's a vacant lot there that has a bunch of weeds, and it just needs to be trimmed and knocked down. The owner is showing up. We don't know what time. The management company called me, and he was like, "Hey man, I know this is short notice, but we really need you out there to trim this vacant lot. I know I'm sorry I didn't call you earlier on it, but it needs to be done. Can you please do it Monday morning, first thing in the morning?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem, man. Sounds good. I have no issues with that." And then I wake up this morning, I'm like, man, I think I have an issue with that because it's pouring rain out. But hey, it's 36 degrees, it's pouring rain, it's completely garbage weather to do any type of lawn care work, but we got to do what we got to do in order to provide for the family, in order to keep food on the table, make enough money to pay the bills. And I know that you guys know that and understand that, so it is what it is. That's just the nature of the beast. And so we're gonna go and trim up this vacant lot and make it nice and pretty, and I'm sure the owner won't even notice it, because we just upkeep the place. But whatever, we're still gonna get paid for it. And also, so that's what we're doing. All right, so I just want to update you guys there. We are also going and we're going there. What did I wanted to say something. I just want to give you guys an update. I uploaded a video on YouTube on the Motor Grow channel, and showcasing kind of the new things that I bought. I didn't, obviously, when you make a podcast episode, it's more of informative talking, and so there was no reason for me to make it into a podcast episode. So it was obviously video, things that you have to see, in order to figure out what I bought. I can't really explain it. I could explain it, but you guys would have to look it up. So obviously, whatever. Made a video about it. I bought a BGA 86 and also the AL 301. You kind of see a corner of it if you're watching the video. It's in the back here. But it's cool. Check it out. It's how we charge our batteries, since we've converted to battery operated handheld equipment. It's how we charge our batteries while we're driving doing our lawn care route. So check it out. Again, it is on the Mode to Grow channel. So if you are viewing this video via YouTube, I highly suggest watching the few videos before this one. I'm sure this video is going to get released way in the future, so maybe you've already seen it. But let me know what you think of my setup, right? So again, yeah, we're just headed out. We're starting mowing this week, and I'll touch base on what our numbers look like. So I counted today. We have just over 30 properties. And for those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that I usually, when I say we, I mean the business, so we usually mow around 60 weekly clients. 60 weekly properties, because some clients are commercials and they give us various properties. And so we mow on average 60 weekly properties. We mowed on average 60 weekly properties last year, and this year we are up to 30 for the start of the season, which is great. It's just the start. Usually you get, those people that trickle in at the end of I'd say April, that assume that their grass doesn't need to be mowed in April, which I don't understand why, because first off, it's nice to get your lawn mowed early because I don't know about you guys, but I know we've switched to mulch, but we try to bag whatever, if we see leaves in the yard and stuff like that, we try to bag them, especially on the initial cut, because those leaves are from fall and they never got picked up, during the fall cleanup, if they ever got one. And so we try to do our best to clean everything up, on the initial cut. And I know, again, the thing is, like, since there's not really much grass growth, we tend to compensate that for leaves, right? So we advertise it as, whatever was missed in the fall, we usually gets picked up with our mowers, but we're not going to be digging into your beds and blowing out your beds unless you want us to. Then we can just charge you extra for that. So that's what we'll be doing this week. And again, I know most of the properties will probably not even need a mow, but if I see that, the edges are overgrown, at least we can clean up the edges for them and make everything look nice and tidy for the start of the season. So, but let me know what you guys think of that. If you guys do start early, let me know. Again, by the time this episode comes out, it'll probably be May. So I don't know. I have a few episodes before this one that need to be released. So let me know how you guys do that. I'm willing to pick up. So oh wow, this guy just slammed on his brakes. We're stopping. I am wanting to do 60 again this year. And since we already picked up 30, the rest of the 30 properties will have to be in my neighborhood, and that is in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The reason why I would only want to do 60 is that's because that's probably my max. Unless I were to do maybe, 20 a day, and that'd be like, since I mow Tuesday through Friday, 20 a day, Tuesday through Friday, and they were all around my house, like in a 2-mile radius, sure, I could probably knock out 80. But where I live, in the surrounding cities that I am in, or that surround my city, the properties that we service are large properties. They're not your cookie cutter less than a quarter acre properties. We got like people with, half acre of just lawn that need to be cut. Some people have more than an acre of lawn that needs to be cut. And I try not to take on that big of lawn as far as like acres goes, because, I'm more profitable servicing someone with a cookie cutter lawn that I can charge my minimum and get it done super fast. Let's just say you charge, a client $80 to cut their acre property, and it takes you an hour. Well, if your hourly rate is $80 an hour, you basically made your hourly, you made less than what, you think you made $80 an hour, but after all of your overhead and expenses, you only made, let's just say, $50 or $40, right? I'd say 50. I don't think you'd make half what, But anyways, it depends on your, on your cost to doing business. But let's say that your minimum is 45 and you have a person with a cookie cutter lawn and it takes you only 7 minutes, right, to do. Or, okay, let's be reasonable, 10 minutes. So it takes you 10 minutes to mow, trim, and edge it, which I've done before by myself. There were some few properties that I charged my minimum, and it took me 7 to 10 minutes to perform everything. Mow, trim, and edge. And blow off all the clippings. And you can be very profitable just by picking up all of these cookie cutter lawns and charging your minimum rate. So, think about that when you are hiring on, and especially if those cookie cutter lawns are right next to each other, you can be very profitable and make a ton more than $80 an hour. You can make man, if let's just say it takes you on average 10 minutes per property, and you service 10 of those, or no, 6 of those, right? So in 60 minutes you've serviced 6 properties, and they're 45 a piece. Let's just say they're 50 a piece, right? Some people's minimums are 50. Well, that is $300, right? 50, 100, 150, 200, 300. $300 in an hour, minus all of your overhead, cost of doing business, employees if you have any. You're still banking, $150 to $200. Again, depending on how much it costs you to do business, but you're still banking $150, $200 profit in an hour. So, sure, maybe you like to cut an acres full of grass. Maybe you like to service those bigger properties. Maybe you like to lay down the stripes and take pictures of that and post them online. I love to, I do both. I have properties that I service that are large, that are not cookie cutter, and I see that, yes, they're not as profitable as the smaller properties that I could charge a minimum rate. Which one's easier to get? I'd say probably the cookie cutter ones. Why? Well, when customers, I don't know why, but when customers think that, oh, I have a small property, oh, it's gonna take them less time to do, they're gonna charge me less, and they feel like, I don't know why, but they feel like the price, they can probably find a cheaper rate every single year. I don't know why. And they every single year, prices of cost of doing business goes up, so you have to increase your prices. And when you explain it to them, they're like, well, my yard's not getting bigger, I'm not expanding my lawn. Why is my price going up? When it's going to take you the same amount of time. So they don't really understand it. Some of them do, but some of them still give me a hard time. Like, well, I can't afford you anymore if you charge the price. And they kind of like play like the victim card. But in reality, you're the victim of price increases, fuel increases, cost of doing business increase. You're the victim of that. It has nothing to do with the customer, because if we continue charging the same prices every single year, our low prices, we're going to go out of business. That's just, it is what it is. So we can't be charging, even if it takes us 10 minutes, guys. Remember this. Don't base your price, don't give a price based off of your hourly rate. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm saying, like, let's just say you're like, okay, I'm starting out this year $60 an hour. All right. It's going to take me 10 minutes to service this property. So I'm going to charge $10. I'll make my 60 an hour, or I'll make, $10 in 10 minutes, which is $1 a minute, which is awesome. Because in my job, I made 15 an hour, and that was not even $1 a minute. So I can make $10 servicing this property. And I'm being kind of, funny here, because I know some people that start out with this mentality and thinking that it's a good mentality and that they can gain 50, 60 clients just like this and make $1 a minute. I'm sorry, but if you make $1 a minute, you're not going to go anywhere. Things aren't going to progress and your business is not going to grow. You might think that that's good, but it's not. There is no profit when you do that. Again, you might think, because what you see in your hand, the checks, the dollar bills, yeah, it might be nice, especially if you charge at the end of the month, you get one large sum. But then you're going to soon quickly realize, man, this is tougher than I thought. Working $1 a minute is actually tough. Yep. So, how long have we been doing this? 15 minutes? Yeah, we'll keep going. So when it comes down to pricing, and I don't know why it's so random. Like, I turn on the camera and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. And so I guess today's topic ended up on pricing, which is nice because, in the beginning of the season, a lot of people are shy of raising their prices. And I used to be the same way. I've talked about that before. Used to be the same way. Thought that if I raise my prices, everyone's going to leave, which is definitely not the case. So if you are in the position of feeling shy or scared of raising your rates, just do it. And you're like, well, how do I do it? Well, I've told you my method before, and my method only works before the season starts, and it's already the start of the season. But I have a podcast episode on that. You can check it out. But to quickly summarize it, you just send them a bid with a higher price every single year. You don't say, we're just going to continue your service the same way it was, Mrs. Jones. No. You raise the price on the estimate and make them accept it. And if they see it, if they don't, well, it's nobody's fault but theirs. Because, sure, if they ask you, hey, has the price increased? Yes. Here was your price last year. Here's the price this year. Right? You don't have to explain it to them. You just give them the price, and if they accept it, they accept it. So, yeah, that's a quick, brief summary of the way I do it. Let's see what else. More updates. Yeah, we're starting this week. I need to prep all my equipment. Well, I've basically prepped all my equipment. I got all my blades. I got some gator blades I want to try out on my zero turn. And because it's April, the grass isn't really growing. It hasn't it's kicked off, but it hasn't kicked off in an inch growth every single day, kind of the kickoff. That's in May, and so we're still dealing with it's greening up, but it still hasn't skyrocketed. So we are able to mulch, and I want to see about these gator blades, how well they work, and I want to try them out. And hopefully we can mulch all year round. But again, sometimes you just still have to bag some of these properties because they don't look good even when you triple cut them, So, and I've ranted about that before. I had I think my bi-weekly customers thought that they were bi-weekly, and then when the time came for me to mow in May, and their grass was like a foot long, I had to quadruple cut it and then bag it too. And it was such a nightmare, and that's why I don't take on bi-weekly clients. And again, a lot of places are different. You might be in an area where, yes, you have to provide bi-weekly service because grass truly doesn't grow in 1 week. It grows a little bit in 2 weeks. So I understand where you're coming from if you do offer bi-weekly. But here in my area, in the Pacific Northwest, in the inland Northwest, we try not to, right? We still have our hot season. We still have times where, we get 100-degree weather, and yeah, the grass doesn't really grow if you're not fertilizing and watering every single day. I have a fertilizer plan for the year, and you're not watering every single day. Yeah, your grass ain't gonna grow. It might actually brown up and yellow up a little bit in some areas. So I've noticed that in our area is, the clients that keep their lawn watered every single day are the ones that you can service on a weekly basis. But the ones that, I try to conserve water, I water, once every 3 days, type of clients, you know what I'm talking about. Those are the clients that are always asking for a skip. Even if you offer weekly service, like, hey, could you skip this week? Okay. You service them the next week, and the same thing. Hey, could you skip this week? So it's constant reoccurring skip, and it's like, okay, we don't do bi-weekly, but I'm literally servicing you bi-weekly. So had a few of those last year, and I thought I quit bi-weekly, but I quickly, it was like I'm doing bi-weekly again, you know. It felt like it. But whatever, you know, those clients you just try to get rid of. I like servicing nice properties. And if your property is not constantly watered and on a fertilizer schedule, or you fertilize, you know, at least 4 times a year, you know, you're probably not my customer. And yeah, it might sound like I'm picking and choosing. Well, I have the option to. I'm in the position where I can do that. And I've talked about that before, eliminating all the clients that you don't like, that are problems, that are headaches. And, you know, I'm able to do that. And some of you might not be. So once you are established, once you are, you know, 2-3 years in your business where you have a nice clientele list, well, now you can look through that clientele list beginning of the year and say, you know, man, maybe we shouldn't service this property because it's so far away. Maybe we should find someone to replace that client, so that way we're technically not losing anything. We're actually gaining more, being more profitable because we don't have to drive out so far. So just briefly there, I wanted to mention that. I'm gonna get off. I want to listen to a few people's podcasts before I get there. So I know some guys I listen to, you know, Tony's Lawn Care, or the Lawn Care. Man, I lost it. I know there's a Lawn Care Together podcast by Alex, and then Lawn Care Talk by Tony Rudolph. There it is. Sorry, Tony. Anyways, guys, take care. I want to listen to those two, maybe a few others, depending on how much time I have. Probably have 15-20 more minutes left. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been Phil with the Motor Grow podcast channel and Phil's Lawn Care channel. Check out our main channel. We're posting videos on there, overgrown edges, property cleanups, whatever we can do right now during the season while it's still kicking off. We don't have any overgrown crazy lawns right now, but I'll try my best to find them. Take care, guys. God bless you. We'll see you on the next one.